What is going on, everybody? What is going on? The Catch Fam, what is going on? 420 Fantasy Hustler Nation. You guys already know what time it is, baby. It's another live 2022 Fantasy Football Mock Draft with both of our wonderful subscriber bases. Kicking off a collab tonight with the 420 Fantasy Hustler. What's going on, my dude?
Man, I'm doing good. This is a long time coming, pretty dope because a lot of a lot of guys who follow both of our streams, so it's real dope. I mean, a lot of familiar faces, and we got both streams running. So we're live on my channel, we're live on the Catch Fantasy Football. So be a real one and have both streams up at the same time, just so you can show both of us some love. And man, 16 teamer, not for the faint at heart.
100%, yeah. So I've got Fantasy Hustlers channel linked down below, so make sure you guys get both streams pulled up. And yeah, 16 teams. It's gonna be crazy tonight.
And there's so many people that we got to shout out because the chat has been like extra lit.
I was about to say, the chat's been going crazy
during the countdown. So even if we don't shout out everyone individually, like you already know, we got love for you guys. And man, we're getting ready to smoke it up real heavy in this draft, though. 16 teams.
Woo. All right, so I got to randomize the order here. Let me do that real quick for you guys. We'll probably give this, 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, make sure we get all the green dots. Hey, see, look at that. I told you. I picked the 1-4. You randomized it, kept me at the 1-4.
It's happened to me all the time. Oh, yeah. We've got, oh, my gosh, so many people in the house tonight.
Bogard. Everybody.
I've never seen your intro, so I was getting so hype on that, especially when Rick Ross came in.
Yeah,
so many good songs in there. But yeah, I'd never seen that before, so that was awesome.
The 5-minute countdown is brand new.
Okay.
We've had a 30-second countdown, before we get into it, but I just feel like there's always people coming in 5 minutes after we start, 10 minutes after we start. So I just feel like the 5-minute countdown, real good, like someone was saying, really feeling the vibe, just build the vibe, let everyone show up, and then when we actually start, we already got a bunch of people in the building ready to go.
Definitely a good way to do it. I think I need to make my own intro after watching that.
I'm telling you, video editing, that's kind of how I broke into all this. I mean, I learned went and took a college class on Premiere Pro and just learning all that. And I'll tell you, it was the coolest thing ever, putting that intro together and mixing in the songs. And then it's still been going strong for 3 years. I keep asking people if I should change it, and they're like, don't fucking do it. Just leave it how it is.
Got to keep it OG.
Yeah.
All right,
so all those clips are from 2020, so they're old.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that, but J-Dub's in the house. Derek, Ronald, Slade, Albert, Spencer, Chase, BOP. This is just on my end. Emil, I'm so excited. So excited to see so many guys out here tonight.
So hyped. Shout out to Derek, said salute. I just subbed over here too, so hopped over to the 420 Fantasy Hustler channel and subbed up. Appreciate you. Oh, and TJ in the building all the way on Facebook. What up, dude?
What's up, TJ?
Oh, and Mike is double checking. He said, "Are we supposed to have a kicker in a defense?"
Oh yeah.
It is in there.
Yeah.
And Ron asked, "What's the format?" It looks like it's single QB, right? Wanted to shout out
QB, full PPR. So just kind of a deep draft tonight, just to have some fun fantasy conversation and kind of see what happens here. I mean, we've got 16 rounds, I think. No, 15 rounds. So yeah, single quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, tight end, 2 flexes, a couple bench spots, kicker, defense. I don't know. Should be fun.
Yeah, and shout out to Spencer. He said, John, when you getting monetized so I can sub? And you said you already applied, right?
I did. Yeah.
It should come, within 30 days or less. I feel like it took 2 or 3 weeks when I applied. And I don't know if the time of year makes a difference on it.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I've been checking the email like crazy. So they sent me a shout out to YouTube. They sent me I don't know. It was the way that the email started was congratulating me on 100 or 1,000 subs. And I thought it was going to be like the email and everything. And then it was just like a GIF of like a ticker moving up to 1,000, then like little celebration emojis. And I was really bummed.
Because you thought it was going to be that you just got monetized.
Yeah, exactly. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty standard, especially with like a sports channel, you know. And I mean, even my sports channel was me smoking weed all the time, you know. So I was kind of nervous about if the monetization was going to come in quick. And it did after it hit that. So yeah, I bet Spencer will be your first member who ends up joining. So if you don't know how to set all that shit up once, because YouTube isn't really clear about how to set things up. But
sure.
If you need any help with that, just let me know.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Spencer's one of the OGs. All right, so I've seen everyone in here with at least a green dot or in the chat, other than our boy Cowboys 4260.
All right, hold on one sec, because I know that he's someone who's in the best ball tourney.
Word.
Let's see. All right, that's Joey. Let me put a message into our big group chat for the tourney, and if he messages back, then we know he's good. If not, we'll just we'll remove him, and I'm sure we can get someone to fill that spot
for sure. Yeah, I'm excited to get I don't know,
Mr. Grapefruit.
Mr. Grapefruit in the house. What's good? Won a t-shirt on my 1K subscriber giveaway stream. So shout out to Mr. Grapefruit. I'm excited just to get like your feedback and just kind of bounce, I don't know, you know, fantasy ideas off each other and everything, man. And just I have a feeling we might draft a little bit different. So I think that'll be good.
Yeah, and I mean, where are you? I mean, I'm the 4 spot. Where are you at?
10, man, I got 15.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm sure we're gonna be drafting real different on opposite ends of this 16 teamer.
So I'm pumped for that.
Okay, so Joey said he's in. So
cool.
I think we're good then. Yeah, Smoking Cat said my 2 favorite channels. I like it. Drop the like on both. Appreciate you.
All right, I guess I'll go ahead and kick this off. So J-Dubs, you got 1.1. Make sure you're good to go. My rolled 117 at 1.2. Andrew at 1.3. I know Huss is good to go at 1.4. There's your warning. We're kicking off another live 2022 fantasy football mock draft. And wow, pick 1 is already in.
Oh, forgot.
CMC.
The volume.
Yeah, I turned it off.
All right. At the 1-1.
JT gone.
You never know how it's going to shape out. I mean, I'm taking JT if I'm at the 1-1, but I don't know. It's all subjective with the top couple guys. I mean, we've seen CMC be that guy, and you're only healthy until you aren't, or unhealthy until you aren't.
That was going to be my question: is are you a CMC believer or not, or maybe a CMC warrior is a better question.
I have him as my 5th ranked running back, so. I'm not crazy high on him compared to some, but I'm not as low as some of the others. I actually have Najee as my number 2 RB overall. So
I like that.
I'd be stoked if I can get him at number 4 for sure in a single QB.
Yeah, I've got CMC a little bit further back as well. But I also drafted him last season. I had him at 1.1. So I feel like I'm a little biased, but I mean, he's just climbed up in ADP like so quickly all off season.
Yeah, he's the man.
I'm just not there. I'm not there.
And Chase said, I like a minute better than 30 seconds. Well, you already know, man, we got to keep it a little extra hardcore because a lot of drafts, you do get 1 minute, not 2 minutes. So it's like that 30 seconds. It really forces you to be real quick. And then it's like, if you guys ever played baseball, you know, it's like when you're in the batter's box and you got 2 or 3 bats that you're swinging, and just makes that one single bat so much lighter, feels a lot easier. So that's really what it is. It's the 30-second muscle memory. So when you're doing 60 seconds, it's like easy.
That's a perfect way of putting it. We've been doing a ton of 30-second mocks lately over at the channel, and it's definitely a different world.
For sure. You got to be on your shit.
Oh, yeah.
And Emil said prayers up for John Mechie. Man, that is leukemia. I don't know if if he's ever dealt with this like earlier in his life or anything, but yeah, that's That's sad. Getting into the NFL, and now he's got to take at least a year off, and hopefully everything goes good and he can recover.
Yeah, I saw that earlier. I was actually really looking forward to watching him play this year as well. He's kind of been one of those sleeper picks, at least in like an underdog drafts and things that I've taken some shots at. So definitely thoughts and prayers his way, no doubt. But um, phew. I think it helps Brandon Cooks if we're talking pure fantasy.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Ooh, I don't know.
Especially here, like running backs. I mean, there's a bunch that are gone. So yeah, curious to see where you go with these first two picks.
I think I want to go running back. I'm gonna go with Chubb. I'll go with Chubb.
And Slade said, hate the 14 spot. I mean, I'd feel real good about getting Kelsey at the 14 spot.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we've had a lot of, so that's another interesting name, right? Like last season, I mean, there are certain drafts out there where Kelsey went top 5. And it really like in the offseason, it came out of nowhere where like, he was like closer to the beginning of the second round, kind of like where he is right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then out of nowhere, I mean, I remember ESPN had him like ranked, I think 5th in their ADP.
Okay.
And just all over the place, he started getting taken in like the top 8.
Yeah, and I mean, really, it was like the more mock drafts that happened, it was like people kept seeing him go earlier and earlier and earlier. And then when it came to like real drafts, it was like people in the 6th spot. Like, fuck, he might not make it to my second round. I got to take him now or I can't do it at all. And I think that just happened a lot.
Yeah, and even in my personal league, that's exactly what happened. He ended up going 5th overall.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I'm just kind of wondering like throughout this offseason if we're going to see that happen again. He goes pretty early, but
yeah, I mean, a lot of it, like we're going to see it in the preseason when some of these running backs start getting hurt. And then it's going to be like, fuck, like, do I want to get a running back early? Like they all get hurt. Like I could take Kelsey, super, super safe. I could take Cup or Jefferson or Chase, super safe in the grand scheme of things, especially when you get past the first, I don't know, 5 or 6 RBs. Like then like people already feel like you're in dart throw territory at that point. It's kind of crazy.
So do you think in terms of Kelsey, do you think he has a better season without Hill, or do you think with Hill gone, defenses are going to be able to apply more pressure to Kelsey? It's like for me, I don't think it matters. I think the targets are there, and between him and Mahomes' chemistry, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, makes no difference because I mean, yeah, Tyreek got the most targets like on the team last year, but I mean the routes that Kelsey runs and how if he's blocking, and just like chips the player off of him and then he's like, out in the flats or something and wide open, he just really can't guard those kind of things. So yeah, all it does is just take Kelsey's targets and take him to the moon. Now he had 140 something last year, probably get back to like the 180 range.
There's a point earlier in the offseason where I was higher on Andrews. And then I think after the trade, I kind of switched back having the Kelsey as my tight end 1.
Okay.
And tonight's draft, we've got Kelsey gone first, then Pitt's gone at 2.5, Andrews gone at 2.6. So Pitt's the second tight end gone tonight.
Yeah, and really those top 3 guys, I feel like it's just real subjective because I've seen Pitts go number 1. I've seen Andrews go number 1. I see Kelsey go number 1 the most out of everybody. But I really can't hate on someone saying that Pitts could have the best season out of everyone. I'm not going to agree with it, but I'll be on the Kelsey side of things. But it could happen.
Sure.
And Alex Flores said, would you take Diggs over Debo or Mixon? I'd probably take Mixon over Diggs, but I'm definitely taking Diggs over Debo.
I actually 100% agree. I mean, I've been super high on Mixon. I don't know where you stand with him, but really since like I did my first mock draft like a few days after the Super Bowl ended, and I've been on Mixon all offseason. I mean, I think we saw everything that we wanted to see as well. Like the offensive line has improved. Burrow's obviously healthy, right? Receiving core is crazy. They lose Uzama, but I think Hayden Hurst is going to be able to fill that role just fine. So I already felt really good about Mixon, who I really think had an underrated season last year. But Mixon's just one of those players. I mean, everyone over my channel will tell you that I've been just crazy about all off season. I mean, it was RB4 last season in PPR, so I feel like not enough people have been talking about that in the off season.
Yeah, I have him as, and actually, I guess I was wrong. I have CMC at 4, and then I have Henry at 5, and then I'm mixing at 6, and then Chubb
I like that.
7, Aaron Jones at 8.
I like that.
And Titans in the building. What up, bro? And Anthony in the building. What up? So what up, Catch Fam and 420 crew?
What's up, Anthony? What's up, everybody? Yeah, so Catch Fam definitely prefers to go running back early and running back heavy. So I'm interested to see how this turns out in a 16-man draft.
So in this situation, I went running back just because I felt that I could get one of the wide receivers that I wanted with this pick, and I was able to. I was able to get T. Higgins, nice. And I don't know if James Conner or Josh Jacobs or I don't know. I didn't know if any of those guys were going to fall to the next pick. So that's when I went back-to-back running backs.
No, I like this start for you. I mean, Connor's been another guy that I love. I mean, especially as like an RB2, RB3 on a roster. Yeah. I mean, I just another guy who I don't really understand why he's been pushed back in ADP on. I mean, I get it. Like, it's injury, right? At the end of the day, that's.
I mean, compared to last year, it's way up though.
Sure.
Last year, everybody. I mean, he was like left for dead. Everyone thought he wasn't going to do shit in Arizona.
Yeah, with Edmonds there as well. But I'm all for James Conner. I mean, RB5, it's similar to Mixon. There's not a lot of people looking at what he did last season, but I that's part of my drafting approach, right? Is looking at previous year statistics, which I know not everyone does, right? Like another guy is Zeke, right? I mean, Zeke, I don't know how you feel about him either, but I don't understand why he's been pushed back so far in ADP as well.
I really feel like it just looks like he doesn't have the juice anymore. Yeah. And then, I mean, their offensive line, I mean, it's just really a shell of what it like used to be. Like, when you talk about his first 2 years, I think that's really it. And he hasn't had a lot of like breakaway runs, that we can really remember like anytime recently. That's probably what it is. I mean, I have him ranked pretty low. Let me see. What do I actually have him ranked? I know I have him low as hell. Running back 22.
Okay.
And which you probably will outperform, that ADP, but it's going to be like last year where it's going to be a bunch of injuries that really help him get up there because it's not like he had an amazing season or anything.
Yeah, I just, I get it, right? And Pollard's there. Pollard looks great when he's on the field. So I get it.
But where do you have him? Where do you have him ranked just for context, or have you worked on your rankings?
I have. Let me pull him up real quick. I don't remember where I put him.
Because I don't always draft based on my rankings, but my rankings is just like my feelings about everyone at the time.
No, I get that. Where did I put him? I think I made a point to put him like a little bit higher up too.
Well, you got to kind of do that, right? Like, I mean, if you're taking a stand on a guy.
Sure. Let's see. I mean, I put him 15, so 7 spots lower. I mean, I've got him right in between Saquon and Monty. Saquon's another interesting name.
I have Saquon at 11, and then I have Monty at 17.
Man, I was such a Montgomery truther as well. Like last season,
Brad Evans level of Montgomery truther.
That was my guy. Him and James Robinson last season, like going into the year. And they kind of worked out when they're healthy, but that's the key thing.
Yeah, Monty's just been someone who always stays healthy at the end of the season, and
leaves
a good taste in your mouth at the end. But the entirety of the season isn't the best.
Man, running back is drying up quickly in this draft.
Oh yeah.
How do you feel about Antonio Gibson?
I'm kind of off that train. I mean, it has to be him falling to me at like extreme value because, I guess I have him ranked 1 spot higher than Zeke, but it seems like I have him ranked so low compared to where he was last year for me. I had him like top 12, like right at the end of the 12.
Yeah. See, like he's sitting here at 3.15 and looking at running backs, I'm like,
yeah, let me see how many running backs actually went off the board.
It's pretty dry.
Yeah, 28 RBs off the board so far. So even taking him well lower than my RB 21.
I'm gonna go Gibson here. It's ugly out here, man.
It really is.
I mean, Hunt just went and CH went.
So I know you've been tapping in on some of the streams. I don't know if you've heard us talking about our 32 team league that we're about to embark on. And, just doing mocks like this, I get me so scared for that league because there's no player copies or anything like that. It's like literally 32 teams. And it's not the ones where you pick like everyone from the same team. It's we start 5 offensive guys, 4 defensive guys. And I'm curious to see what kind of like lineups people are able to put together.
Sure. Yeah, I need to get into some IDP leagues, man.
It's the way to go. It's gonna be the future. Like, I mean, it might not be right now, might not be next year. A couple years from now, people are gonna get bored and they're gonna look for new things, and that's gonna be one of those things.
Yeah, I do want to get into it. I mean, I haven't done one. I've done one before, but it's been like since middle school. It's been a really long time, but
long as you do it on Sleeper, you'll be good because they adopted the IDP 1, 2, 3 scoring.
Okay.
And that's the one that I've been using like forever. Well, very, very similar to the one that I created for my league, just a couple minor tweaks. But I just got on board with that so I could push that train also. And I got on board before Sleeper got on board with it, so I felt good about it.
Yeah, for sure. David tuned in and said Gibson is ass.
yeah, Crispy. He's a Cowboys fan. So
okay. What's up, David?
He's always gonna talk mad shit about what's his name, fucking Gibson.
All right, man. Into the 4th. So, gosh,
it's crazy because the wide receivers are going at a very similar, like, pace. I feel like. I mean, yeah, maybe these are like 5th round guys like Deontay Johnson, Michael Pittman, DK, but well, maybe not now because now we got Brandon Cooks and Cortland Sutton going in the 4th round. So now it's getting crazy.
Yeah, I mean, running back. Absolutely decimated. I mean, we've still got some good names out there, but
we've already had 31 running backs go because you took Gibson at RB 29.
Yeah.
So
I feel like by like the time I draft again, running back is just going to be. I don't know. I think I'm going to hold off. I mean, I almost went Herbert just because of the. I don't know. There comes a point with me and Herbert where I'm like, I just want him on my team.
Right.
If he had fell to 4.2, obviously went at 4.1, I would have definitely considered him. It really, for me, it's the 4th round, like regardless of size, whether it's a 12-man, 16-man, 8-man, whatever. If Herbert's sitting there, I just think he could end up being quarterback 1 going into or at the end of the season. So
for sure, it really depends on the scoring. If it's just like the default, like scoring, a lot of times I'm just holding on the QB. Like as great as Herbert is, I mean, Brady threw for more yards than Herbert did last year. He threw for more touchdowns, threw more attempts.
Sure.
That's just what's crazy, and Herbert's gone as like a number 3. Brady's gone as like number 10, 11, 12. So if it's different with I like QB premium scoring, where it's like 15 yards per point versus 25 yards per point. So just way more points being scored on a game-to-game basis.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I mean, generally, I'm not drafting the quarterback till mid or late rounds. Last season was the first year where I took a quarterback early on. I took Lamar, so that was like the 3rd or 4th round. And I mean, it's not that Lamar had a bad season from a fantasy perspective. He just got hurt.
Yeah,
ended up costing me the playoffs essentially. So now I'm like completely against. Like I'm never doing that again. So, and it's a great point because I mean Brady didn't go that much later than Lamar last season, but he definitely went a couple rounds later. And they look at guys like Stafford last season, who everyone passed on and had a great season from a fantasy perspective, right?
Yeah.
Prescott's another one like this year who really, I mean, was top 8 last season. I mean, obviously he loses Cooper and everything, but
is Ramon the guy who's drafting number 1 overall? He said, shout out to the guy drafting number 1 overall. Way to stay disciplined and draft 3 running backs to start.
That was that's J Dubs. That's Jonathan.
Okay. Well, Jonathan's getting some shout outs on his squad.
I mean, J Dubs knows how to draft. There's no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about Akers looking at J Dub's team?
I mean, where he's going, I'm not mad at it. I mean, someone who I don't really want to bank on. I mean, I feel like the talent's there, but a little bit up and down, and he's kind of always been getting hurt. So that, yeah, especially like, I mean, just going back to college, the way that he just got beat up all the time because of that shit line, that they had. He's got a lot of wear and tear on his body.
Yeah, I'm not really on the Akers train. And like I had him as a waiver pickup like that year that he went off and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was like what 2 or 3 games, right around playoff time.
Yeah, and he was hurt that year, and that's why everybody like dropped him at that point. That's why he was even able to be got off of waivers because he got hurt.
I mean, he was going in the first round in mocks last preseason before he got hurt and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But and then even like when you look at his play when he did play this past season, it wasn't that great. Like, I mean, he had some explosiveness and everything, which is impressive. Looking at the injury, but especially like in the Super Bowl, I mean, it was really Darrell Henderson who McVay was relying on. I like Henderson at his value. I mean, he's going at the end of drafts, and I mean, I just feel like Sean McVay, excuse me, is like secretly similar to Kyle Shanahan in the fact that he likes to utilize multiple running backs throughout the season. Yeah. It's really, when you look at it last season, you had Henderson, then Michelle, then like kind of Akers, but then kind of a blend of all those guys. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's not a Shanahan system, but real similar to where he's always utilizing a bunch of backs. I mean, Todd Gurley, I guess, he was just really different. Like there's just a different level of talent in Todd Gurley compared to, even Cam Akers.
Sure, man, I can't believe Todd Gurley's like downfall.
Those knees, man, like
I know.
And it's just getting overused his entire life. Because, I mean, if you're that good in the NFL, like, I can just imagine how good he was in high school and Pee-wee. And, like, I'm sure he's just been dominating people his entire life on the field.
Sure.
He's dope. Yeah, he's cool in person. I met him when I went to the draft. He was
no kidding.
Yeah, he was one of the people who they had all these different booths and different vendors, and they all had, just either current NFL athletes or, ex-NFL athletes. Todd Gurley was one of the ones there. And I was wearing my 420 crew shirt, and he gave me a shout out. He was like, "Hey, dope shirt, bro. I like it."
Nice.
So, yeah, he's a fan of the 420.
So you that was this past year's draft?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Nice. Vegas draft. Yeah. So I moved here officially at the beginning of April, and then it was like at the end of the month was the draft.
So I told the night of the draft, my co-host and I did a live stream and everything, just reacting to the draft basically. And I told the subscriber base when we hit 100K that I'm throwing a Vegas party.
Hell yeah.
So I guess we'll have to make sure that you're there.
Oh, yeah. And I'll be throwing Vegas parties real soon. I mean, we're doing a live Vegas draft this year, and it's just going to be one league, but this is going to be a yearly thing that I turn into just like a dope event where we're just going to have a shit ton of live drafts, dope venues, just all kinds of things, but like just one of the dopest draft vibes that you can be a part of. So 2023 is going to be a lot bigger than 2022, but yeah, we're going to have at least 12 savages in this league. We're about half full so far. $200 buy-in, and live Vegas draft.
Let's go. Yeah, man, I haven't done a live draft in like a really long time, and I miss that, dude.
Because it's so fun.
Oh yeah.
Like, and I tried to keep the live drafts going as long as possible, but and before COVID, 2019, that was the last year that I did a live draft, but still there was only about half the guys there who were like in the actual league. So kind of just like defeats the purpose of the live draft. Like,
yeah, no doubt.
Everybody
has people show up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's almost like equivalent to just have people don't show up to an online draft. You
Right.
just have auto draft or auto picks going.
Yeah, and especially and that's one of the things that I fucking hate. And yeah, that was another one of those where someone literally didn't show up for the draft, had no way of getting a hold of this person, and because they'd been in the league for a handful of years, we just let him stay in, and then he auto drafted. And this is 2019, and I was so pissed because he drafted Lamar Jackson one pick in front of me in like the 9th or the 10th round or some shit. And he would not have drafted Lamar Jackson there. And if he didn't fuck with my team and Lamar Jackson, I would have won that year because I had like Patrick Mahomes and like my team was all stacked except for my super flex QB.
Yeah, super flex. It's a different world, man.
Well, where do you lie on the single QB super flex?
You mean in like single?
What do you
QB?
prefer?
Single quarterback. I mean, I like super flex. Don't get me wrong. I've just traditionally played single quarterback. I've played super flex before as well, but I don't know. I just, for whatever reason, I'm very boring in the way that I like leagues to be set up, and I don't know why.
I gotta have super flex. I guess I guess what was different for me compared to a lot of people is the first league that I ever got into was not even super flex. It was 2 QB and IDP, and so I mean that was like literally how I started. And it wasn't until I started doing more things and meeting people on social media where like 1 QB leagues even became a thing for me.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with super flex or IDP or 2 quarterbacks or anything. You know, I'm just so used to playing single quarterback because like for the last 6 or 7 years, like both my main, competitive leagues have been single quarterback. But now that I've gotten, into building this community and everything and talking to more and more people who play fantasy, that's opened my eyes to like, how many different formats there are and, how many different people enjoy different formats as well. So, I definitely need to start branching out a little bit more. And another thing I've never done is Dynasty.
Oh, never done Dynasty before? Yeah, I definitely got to try it. I mean, one of the things, it just, you're doing it all year. Like, that's the most fun thing about it, exactly. Is, I mean, some people think it's crazy, but the dynasties that I do, we start in February, like literally like a couple days after the Super Bowl. And then we're going all the way until June, and they're like 58 round drafts. So they last like 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here, look what you did. You gotta wait a minute. When it comes up, then I'll unlock it for you. What did Ronald say? He said, "To each his own. We all love fantasy."
100%.
Yep. And I'm all about just creating the. Careful, dude. My water's right there. Look what he said. Okay, careful. My water's right there. And super flex, tight end premium. I like it. That's probably my favorite style to play in now. And but I create all the non-conventional leagues. Like if anyone wants to find like a single QB league, like any size, any whatever buy-in, like they'll be super easy to find. Like I do the vampire leagues, guillotine leagues. We're doing that 32 team league that's going to be insane. What else? Got the auction style draft. I always try to do one of those.
Yeah, I've never done auction either. Yeah, when you sent me when we were talking on Twitter and you sent me all the different leagues you had, I was like, I need to think on this because I want to try out so many different leagues, but I'm like, I don't know which one I should pick first because vampire and guillotine are other ones that I've looked at and heard about like on Reddit and stuff and wherever, and I'm like, I don't know. I think auction is another one that I've never done. I remember my brother when I was growing up would always do. He doesn't play fantasy anymore, but when he did, he always played auction. I've never been exposed to it, so I'm like, I don't want to get into too much at once, especially like this is like my first year where last season for the channel we had a mid-season league because so many people asked for it. And then this year, now that we're preparing and ready and everything, we're gonna have like 4 leagues and a everyone competing against each other in like a tournament essentially.
Sweet.
And I still have my personal leagues, and then I've got everything going on at the channel. So it's like I don't want to do too much at once, but then part of me is like,
you got to do it, man. That's
exactly.
the way it is. That what separates like the real hardcore fantasy analysts from the ones who I feel like they're not even like the real deal, you know, because like I don't like hearing a fantasy analyst say they only play in like 1 or 2 leagues. I'm like,
sure.
How do you not have a bunch of friends, you know, or a bunch of followers who like want to get in leagues with you, you know? And so, yeah, it went from me playing in like 8 leagues, like, let's see, maybe like in 2017, 18, then it turned into like 20. And like last year it was like at 40 something. And this year it's probably going to be like 60 something or 80 something.
Yeah.
But there's guys in like the 420 crew who they're like literally in like over 100 leagues.
Jeez.
And so it could be done. It's
sure.
I guess just figuring out how to mix it into your schedule.
Sure. That's part of it for me too, is like how to get it all worked out in the schedule. That's the main thing, man.
Yeah.
But
And
I guess
Emil said, what's an auction? So an auction draft. So one person will nominate a player, and then everyone just kind of bids on that player. Like the auction draft that I do, we're doing it on Sleeper this year for the first year, and our budget is $420. And so you have $420 to fill your roster.
Yeah. I need to do an auction league.
It's fun. It's just different, you know, like that. That's really what it is. All about just doing something a little bit different.
Yeah, let me know what you have spots available in, and maybe I'll just hop into one of each. I mean, like, it's not like it's a buy-in or anything, right? So it's like, what can it hurt? You know?
Well, they are all buy-ins.
Well, that doesn't really matter to me either. Then it's like,
you
know, there's a chance at winning something, you know. So
yeah, I mean, I know that like $100 is probably like the threshold to where a lot of people don't want to get to. So I mean, it's $54 buy-ins on most of these, and then at least there's a nice, you know, a nice purse for the for whoever gets first place, and then nice for second. I always get the championship rings like as well. So here's
I heard that on one of the streams. Yeah, those are dope, dude.
Championship rings, and everyone's super excited about them, and real nice hardware for you to flex.
Yeah, I like those, man. Yeah, and that's the other thing, like with making sure your leagues are money leagues, is obviously it keeps everyone involved, you know.
Yeah.
Where in most leagues where there's nothing at stake, there's at least a mid-season slump at worst, you know.
Always.
Yeah.
So I don't really like playing in free leagues. I just try to avoid them now. I mean, over the last couple years, if there was like, oh, you know, all us analysts, you know, we're getting together and, you know, we're getting in the league or whatever. It always, I mean, because it was free, it, you know, just like you said, doesn't matter who it is. Like there's people just not paying attention or whatever, and it always happens.
And then it's like, it's way too easy for someone to build like a super team throughout the season because 6 or 8 people aren't using waivers, and then 2 or 3 people are really using waivers. So
yeah, and that would always be me building those super teams. I'm like, man, I hate you guys. Like nobody's doing anything. Like, why the fuck do we even join this?
Yeah.
And even in the Scott Fishbowl, like, I mean, as much as everyone's like super hyped on that, my division, a bunch of people stopped like paying attention. You know, like midway through, and there was a whole bunch of people who got easy ass wins. And
I think I heard you talk about that on one of your streams.
Yeah, I mean it's a cool tournament, but I mean if there was, I know that they get donations for charity, you know, from the content that they create around it, but because there's like 0 stakes, you know, like
right. Yeah, I had never even heard of it until like last month, because I just started a Twitter for the channel, and then just following anyone and everybody to do fantasy. Like I started to see it pop up, and I'd never heard about it before. So
yeah,
but obviously it's huge and everything. So
it's all on Twitter, is what it is, and a lot of people just think it's a rite of passage.
Sure.
Definitely not, though. I mean, I think there's just a lot of ass kissing that goes on. So I mean, people feel like if you don't kiss his ass, maybe you won't get in or not. But
yeah, I saw that you can get in next year by like Underdog has a tournament now. So I never seen that before either. So
I mean, really, the big tournament is really just to promote all the leagues that he has, because he runs safeleagues.com. So I mean, that's really what it is. It's all just to promote his other endeavors. Bob says, can you guys talk about politics or something? And what up, Math Quest? He said, Hustler, you should join the Catch League and vice versa. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, whenever you get your big tournament going or whatever, just let me know.
Yeah, I can send you. Well, I just need your. I'll hit you up on Twitter. I just need your email. So basically, I mean, it's not a money league, but there are prizes. So, and I mean, last year everyone paid attention and everything, so I think it'll be good.
That's cool.
But I think next year we'll get more into more different styles of leagues and then some money leagues as well.
And that's what, at least I know a lot of the people in the chat, that's what they want, right? They want to be able to join leagues with us and other people in the chat and stuff like that. And it's got to be guys like us, putting this all together and spearheading it.
Oh, for sure. And it's just hard to find, unless you know people. It's just hard to find good competitive leagues too.
Yeah.
Because before I was doing this, I always wanted to be in more leagues and everything. But it's kind of like we've been talking about. It's easy to find free leagues. But then you're just playing with people you have no connection with, people that aren't paying attention.
Yeah.
Whatever it is,
Gets lame.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this year I've even thought about it too. I put this whole schedule together of all the content that I was going to be doing. And then I really just started backtracking and realizing I'm going to take away a lot of things and put more effort into recaps on the leagues and things like that. Because I mean, that's really what people want. They want to be engaged in everything we're doing. And these leagues, there's a lot of people who say they create the most engaging leagues around there, but I'm going to actually live that and, create content around a bunch of these leagues weekly.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I kind of did a similar thing, even with my July and August schedule where I had it all mapped out. And then honestly, just how interactive the streams get and mock drafting with my community. It's kind of I would rather focus on that because that's like you're saying is bringing value to the community and everything, And once the season starts, we'll have more uploads and I'll be doing more mock draft uploads on top of the streams next month. But
you're going to do the Q&A sessions, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the most fun thing anyways.
Those get crazy, man. No doubt. Even last year when we had 300 subscribers, I mean, it's just those fantasy Q&As get crazy.
Because there'll be a whole bunch of random people, just jumping in, not even subscribers, and
it is what it is.
Yeah. It's fun though. And then mixing in that, the subscribers on YouTube, all the random people on YouTube, and then that group that I told you about where we're live streaming in there too. And that entire group was built off of me just putting up posts, question and answer thread, week 5, whatever.
Yeah.
Just answering hundreds and hundreds of posts over the span of a few days.
Yeah, that's kind of we just have Discord.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then last season we also had the chat on Sleeper for the league.
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting there. But even those, I mean, you just kind of learn how to manage more and more as you go, year by year. It gets easier and easier. At least I would assume. But
yeah. Well, I mean, maybe, who knows? It gets bigger and bigger every year. So, I mean, just by the logic, it should get a little bit harder. But
sure.
Yeah, as long as you have the systems down, that's really what it is.
Okay. I think they're looking rough. I went quarterback.
I probably should have went quarterback instead of Schultz, but I feel like I really got the positional advantage with Schultz there and getting him where I got him. I mean, I would have liked to get Brady right there. I was debating on that. And guess I'm not the biggest fan of getting Tua right here, but I could have done a lot worse after I don't even know how many QBs have gone, but a shit ton.
Yeah, for me, that cutoff with Cousins.
I wanted Cousins, damn it.
Yeah.
And had to double up on his QBs right there. I thought that Cousins would fall to me.
Yeah. Well, with Julian going Trey Lance, you had reason to believe too.
Yeah.
And by the way, BOP, I'll hit you up on are you on Discord? Either way. I'll just need your email and I'll get you on the list for sure.
And Spencer said he really likes 95 Chase's team. Let's see, where's 95 Chase? Oh, wait, took Chase in the first round, so extra point right there. And then Barkley and Dillon and Cooks, Gordon, Davis, Aaron Rodgers, TJ Hawkinson. I hate the TJ Hawkinson pick, but other than that, I like the rest.
Yeah, Hawkinson scares me a little bit. I don't know. I don't like shoulder injuries at his position, especially. It's a
Yeah.
physical position. I actually kind of like a lot of Detroit Lions players this year, especially at like their ADPs. But Hawkinson's one that I just think you're looking at boomer bust.
Yeah.
It could pay off, but for me, like I'd rather draft Ertz or Knox or Goddard, Schultz, like any of those guys in that same tier. And if not, then I'd rather wait and hit like a Gesicki or Hunter Henry.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. Yeah, he just scares me. So
For sure. Chase said, I'm intrigued to see how Tua is this year. Yeah, me too. Because he was solid at times, and then there was a lot of times where they didn't let him really uncork it or anything.
yeah, I was Tua was like my sleeper last season. Like I was really big on Tua, made some pretty bold claims, and my co-host like let it haunt me all season long. But I do agree. Like I just don't think he's been utilized correctly. And it's a make it or break it year. Don't get me wrong.
And Spencer said, give me Goddard over Hawk. He said, but he went way before him. So he did in this one, but that's because Ron's in here, but usually Goddard is going after Hawkinson. I mean, in a lot of these drafts, and I think that's crazy because I would take Goddard, all day over.
For sure. Yeah, Ronald's definitely on the Goddard train and is going to go secure him before anyone else can, no doubt.
Yeah, and Chase said, I usually don't target Hawk, but he fell later than I expected. Yeah, for sure. I mean, 8th round of a 16 teamer. Yeah, because usually going in like 8th round of these like 12 teamers.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen him like all over the place. I mean, there's a point where he was much closer to like the 5th or 6th.
I saw him get drafted over Waller in
really?
in one of these. I swear it was in one of the best balls. Maybe it was in one of the mocks, but we did a bunch of best ball drafts, and I swear in one of these drafts that we did that he was taken over Waller in one of them.
Yeah, I mean, and he was like a top 5 tight end going into last season, And at the beginning of the season, it looked like that was going to pay off, but I just couldn't stay healthy,
I blame it on the footballers. Like they hyped him up like way too much.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that. I mean, I liked him. I liked him last offseason, like at his value and everything. But
it's because it came down to earth. I mean, the value the year before was like crazy high.
Sure.
I mean, at least where he's ADP wise.
I don't know why. For whatever reason, I'm kind of scared of Waller. I don't know why. When he just had
his crazy injury history where he's because it was we actually have like we actually have like a source of like a guy who knows Waller. They've just done business and stuff together, and like so we got some actual word on like last year that he wasn't just nursing one injury, but he was only had one injury listed on the injury report. And
interesting.
So we knew like really early that it wasn't going to be good for him all year.
Yeah, it was I don't know, like week 1, right? Like we got the Waller that we wanted against the Ravens. He had like 30 points. He had like a ridiculous amount of targets. And then just after that, it was just a really weird season, I felt like. But most of it injury, like you're saying.
And Facebook user said, Alex, how was your record and what rank did you end up last season? Well, I was in a shit ton of leagues. I ended up winning 6 championships last year. So really, I guess that's the only number that really matters at the end of the day.
I mean, how many leagues do you think you played in last season?
So I know there was like 30 something that weren't best ball. So I know I had double digit best balls in there. So it was maybe like 32 to 35 that were redraft in Dynasty.
I mean, 6 championships and about 32 leagues is not bad at all. I had a bad year in fantasy last year, man. I'm not gonna lie. But I only played in 3 leagues last season, actually. And I was like I cared so much more about my subscribers' teams than my own.
Right.
So now I'm trying to find that balance,
Well, and for me, the balance is really like having so many teams that you literally have a share of like everybody good that you really, really want.
Sure.
Because like it's impossible to get everybody you really want spread out on, 2 or 3 teams. But then you pick and choose a little bit, kind of mix and match. And all the leagues that I'm in are just crazy fucking competitive. I mean, the guys who find me to get in these leagues, like I said, it's the guys who are in like way more leagues than I am. 3 times the leagues, that I was in last year with 40 something. And yeah, I won 2 dynasties. So he started 9 dynasties last year, made it to 4 championships, lost 2, won 2. And those were so hard to win. Like 19 starters. You have to have a really, really complete team to win. There's no fluky championships in those ones. And I know TJ, who was in here earlier, he won 2 of those championships last year. So he was super fucking stoked.
Yeah, I know next year we're going to get Dynasty League set up, which I'm excited for.
And start them early. Like, don't be like these guys who like start them in like, July or August, because we're already in redraft season. Like, that's what's the fun about Dynasty. Like,
for sure.
Literally starting right after the Super Bowl, or even so. I run them 2 ways. If we do the draft before the NFL draft, we have 2 separate drafts. We have the veteran draft, and then we have a rookie draft after the NFL draft. If we start the dynasty after the NFL draft, then we just have everybody in one draft together.
Okay.
And then every year after that, then it's rookies.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are asking, over at the channel for us to start it this year. And I just felt like if I did it, would have been inorganic, like I needed more time to prepare. At the same time, the best way to prepare is probably to just go to do it, right?
Well, it is, but you definitely don't want to. I mean, there's a reason why most dynasty leagues don't last more than 2 years, and it's because they're not set up properly. They're not set up to be like thinking about like 3, 4, 5 years down the road. I mean, a lot of times, I mean, not even having things set up enough to where you're already wanting to change things before the season starts. Like,
sure.
I'm not saying that would be you, but I've heard all these horror stories from all these dynasty leagues that like they draft in February. They don't even last until like the beginning of the season. Like there's already so much drama and that they quit, before like it happens. So
yeah, I think that's part of it too, is you have to have like the right people too, and we definitely have enough people over at the channel that I trust and everything, but it's like, it's a larger commitment than
you got to qualify people. Like, I mean, with a lot of these leagues, I mean, really, it's like first come, first serve. You pay the money first, you get in. But
sure,
in Dynasty, yeah, like I'm not saying I interview people necessarily, but like I don't just throw out a link and say join and send the money. Like I got to make sure you're like literally cool with everything that's about to happen, because even in our drafts, 8-hour clocks is what we have in the Dynasty. There's some people who they start bitching like the first day of the draft, because at least that happened last year. Even when I told people 8 hours per pick, like just be ready for it. This is not a redraft league.
Yeah.
That's a huge adjustment, making it a slow draft versus a fast draft.
Absolutely. Yeah, when I did my first Underdog slow draft, it's I don't know. I feel there's kind of an advantage to slow drafts. Like I feel like towards the end of the draft, people stop. I don't know. It depends on who you're drafting with. At least on Underdog, I feel like people stop paying attention almost.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because really, like a lot of these guys, it's really just like just crack addicts and just like gotta get this best ball fix in for today. And even if I only draft the first 6 rounds, I'll be good. And it's funny to me, but that's like what best ball is. Like, man, it's just like micro dosing fantasy football. So funny.
Yeah, I saw someone say that on Twitter like last week.
That was like the perfect like analogy.
Albert says he was team 11. He just left the mock. I don't remember. He may have not meant to. It may have been I don't know, technical issue or something.
I have YouTube up. I'm gonna rewind.
I was about to say I could just rewind real quick.
The sport is something. Not sure who that is.
I don't think I know who that is either. But either way, I mean, we could leave it. We probably have a couple minutes to see if he.
So you can't. That's the one thing that sucks, is like you can't add someone in
Okay.
after the fact.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of the things that Sleeper needs to be able to change, but who knows how much they work on these mock drafts, compared to all the other features.
We'll survive with one auto pick, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
It happens. Just people want their fix. Even here, get 10 rounds, then all right, I'm not going to draft the bench or the kickers or defense.
Yeah, it's crazy. I used to that's really I mean, I used to just be crazy about mock drafting like in the off season, like way before the channel, right? And it used to almost be that way. It'd be like an evening event where I was like kind of sit down and do like 2 or 3 mock drafts.
Yeah.
And when we started the channel, we actually started a more like podcast format that included like fantasy conversation. And then I just slowly started to see that people did like mock draft videos on YouTube, and I was like, holy shit, I can do this like all day long. And that's really what turned us into like primarily a fantasy football channel. So I definitely understand having to get that fix.
Yeah, for sure. And people want to watch it too. That's what's cool. Yeah. I mean, there's people who are not in the mock who will just sit here and watch the mocks with us and just see where guys go.
Sure.
And that's awesome. And then it's cool having different styles of mock drafts because some people playing single QB, some people playing 10 team, 12 team, 14, 16.
Sure.
We're gonna do a 32 team mock draft pretty soon. We're probably only gonna do like 4 or 5 rounds or something to see how it just kind of shapes out. But it's gonna get real ugly real fast. But just thinking about whoever has number 1, you have to wait 63 picks before it gets back.
Jeez. Yeah, and it's I don't know, it's just such a nice resource, I feel like too, because if you try and do too many mocks on like ESPN and Yahoo and this and that, you just get auto picks. You get people leaving consistently. Where doing it this way, with like a community and everything, it's just so much more realistic.
Yeah, we get one auto drafter after 10 rounds, and that's about it. But if you're in one of those Yahoo mocks, it's like within 2 or 3 rounds. I mean, sometimes you have autos who start right from the beginning, and that shit is annoying.
Yeah. I've done a 20 team league twice. Okay. One of my primary leagues, he's done it's usually 14 teams. But we've had 2 years now where we've done 20 teams. I think this year he wants to get it back down to 14 because last season was pretty rough. But
kind of insane, right?
So I have not a 32 team, not that close, but 20 teams is rough.
Hell yeah.
I mean, you're scouting out like wide receiver 4s and 5s in case a wide receiver 3 gets injured,
Yeah, so, I mean, even the 16 team are like this, I feel like that's where the insanity really starts is when, I mean, 14 is not too bad, I mean, unless it's super flex, then it does get a little crazy.
Sure.
But 16 teams, that's the cutoff for me where it's like, you're in crazy territory at that point.
Sure. I got to think about who I'm going to draft.
Good looking, Crispy, pushing the trade through for Bogey. Bogey, what was the trade? Throw it in the chat so I can read it out.
Ooh.
Yeah, Spencer said 32 teams is way too much. I can't deal with that shit. It's gonna be crazy. I'm really gonna still collecting the money from everyone, and then I'm gonna try to figure out a day where we could do just 1 minute picks or and try to knock out like a round, just 1 round, just live. And we'll see. Might be able to. Maybe we can knock out like 2 rounds if everyone can commit to like 1 hour at 1 minute picks.
It's worth trying. Oh my gosh, dude. I think running backs are done for the night.
Oh, for sure.
Gosh. I mean, I don't think there's anyone I don't think there's anyone I would draft.
Yeah, after I got Darrell Williams, I felt like Darrell Williams, that was like the was really just like the tier break for a lot of these like handcuff-ish guys because he could have his own value over there in the flex.
I'll take 4 running backs. Why not?
Spencer said, John, I think you should try to use the YouTube comment feature that Hustler uses. Being able to read everyone's questions on the stream helps the viewer.
Yeah, so when I the way I have to stream through Streamlabs. It doesn't let me. We did it a long time ago when I was just streaming on like when I was first just streaming on Melon.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like doing that. I mean, we did it a long time ago, but I agree with you, Spence. I need to get it set up.
Well, and yeah, and just let me know if you want to what we talked about, you know.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think making the move away from Melon might be beneficial. Undoubtedly. Ronald says, me too. That's very constructive criticism. Yeah, we did it a long time ago. If you were to go back and find some of the earlier streams.
Because even more, it just feels like the, you know, community's even more a part, you know, of the stream and the channel. So I've always liked that. And I mean, pretty much it was all Q&As that really helped me build fast. Sure. And yeah, most of those people are still around. And so I must have given them good advice at least once or twice.
Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like last season I was so much better at like giving advice for other people's teams than I was like for myself.
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
It's so for like you know, hitting 1K, I was going back and watching like old streams, just trying to find like random clips. And one of our like A1 day one subscribers, Jerry, I found the moment, like his first moment, you know, coming on the channel and everything, and I like clipped it. And oh gosh, I don't even remember. He was asking me like, out of these three players, who should I start? And it was Dalton Schultz, and then like two really shitty receivers. Like I can't even remember who they were. And I was listening to myself, and I was like, if I recommended one of those two receivers, I'm going to hate myself. And then I recommended Dalton Schultz. So I was like, I was happy with that. So
yeah, for sure.
It's good stuff, man.
I remember one time it was a Wednesday show, and Bogey, the guy who's on the other co-host who I have with me, who's always on, he someone asked, it was like George Kittle or maybe like Schultz or Kelsey or like something like that. I can't remember who it was. And it was on a Wednesday. And and he was like, yeah, start this guy. But he was like, it's Wednesday, so make sure you tap in a little later, you know, in the week. And he, whatever he said, he got it wrong. And the guy came back talking so much shit. Like the next week after that, he was like, I told you to come back. Don't take a Wednesday answer as the final answer.
Yeah. Let's see. BOP says, I just did this trade in Dynasty. CMC, Mike Williams, Mooney in a third for Debo, DK, Claypool in a fourth. I kind of lean with the first side.
Yeah,
but it also it kind of depends on the roster. Like, if you don't need a running back, I don't know.
I guess the thing that's tough is like if CMC was just like a regular running back, because like everybody needs a CMC. Like, yeah. This is kind of like a trade that I would never do though. I really, really don't like doing the 4 players for 4 players, 3 players for 3 players. Because it's always like you win a little bit here, you lose a little bit here. And I guess that's why I usually don't trade like that. But yeah, I would pick the first side over this just in a nutshell.
And that's who BOP says he got, the CMC side. So I like that side more. I'm glad that that's your side.
Yeah. Got the higher draft pick. CMC to me is the best player in this trade, even in Dynasty. So I like to at least have the best player in the trade, you know, of the entire trade. And yeah, Jeff said, just subscribe to your channel, Hustler. Need to check out your videos. We got a bunch. And if you're into IDP, you can go check out some rankings there. We're going to be coming out with me and Bogey and Spencer. We usually do like some consensus, like top 10 of like running backs, wide receivers. So we got a couple of those that are going to be coming out. We did our QBs like a week and a half ago or so.
Nice. Yeah, I'll go ahead and throw I'll link my channel and then I'll link your channel so everyone can have those if they want to check out.
Cool.
Oh gosh, I just sent that to everyone. Yeah. That one should be mine. And then here, I'll link your channel on here too.
But see, also what's cool about StreamYard, you just you put it in there once, it sends it out to all of them, and yeah.
Let's go. Where do you guys go? If you want to check out either channel, I mean, go ahead and hit the subscribe button for both of us. But there you go.
Yep.
Yeah, I like Mooney a lot too, especially in Dynasty.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what he does with Fields, but I mean, I know that they're homies. I mean, they talked about how they were playing like Call of Duty and going bowling and shit, doing all this stuff. And like Allen Robinson was kind of just like a pissed off like older brother, so they were like getting to know each other and stuff and hanging out.
Yeah.
And that chemistry goes a long way.
Sure. Yeah, I think they have good chemistry, which at the end of the day is like one of the main things I look for. But also just, I mean, like 100, it was like 10th in the league in targets last season. So I think the targets will be there. So full PPR, even half PPR, I like Mooney. But in Dynasty too, I think that connection will be there for at least another year or two. And I think Mooney will probably be there. Who knows though, with the receiver market, the way it's been.
Yeah, I'm curious to see just what Chicago does as a whole, because I mean, they're definitely like in a rebuilding stage right here. And what the hell do they do?
I think they have a good young offensive core. Like, I mean, I think Fields is questionable, don't get me wrong, but Mooney, Komet, and Monty, I mean, but the offensive line is just like not even, I can't name one person on that offensive line. So
and BOP said Mooney was born on the exact same day as me. I'm super biased towards him. It's in the stars. I like it. And so one thing, I mean, I don't know, for anybody who hasn't seen stuff on my channel, I've had Ricky Williams on the channel like 3 times up until now. And he's an astrologist. And so we go over a lot of different things involving astrology. And we had a little project together where we were kind of correlating like the signs of players versus like top 10 fantasy production. And so I might do a little bit of drafting based on like the signs of some of these guys.
We should. I had a coworker who was like super into astrology, and it's super cool. Like I don't know how to explain any of it, but whenever like he would literally make us like a calendar like every month of, these are your good days, these are your bad days. And most of the time I would look at the calendar and be like, this is way too accurate than I'd like to admit.
For sure.
Yeah, I remember checking out your channel for the first time a while back and just seeing all the different interviews that you've done. And it's definitely cool stuff, man. And Ricky Williams is pretty huge.
Yeah, for sure. And last year, who else do we have? So Adam Rank came on, James Coe, Marcus Grant, Schmitty. I mean, those were kind of like the main guys. I mean, I did a shit ton of interviews with guys like Bob Lung, who runs the Fantasy Football Expo. So many I can't even like think of it off the top of my head. Troy King, who's like becoming a superstar now.
Yeah. I've watched some of the Schmitty one, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it was funny because with him, he was the only one who got on the stream. Are you getting that echo? Do you hear echo?
I'm not hearing it.
Let's see. We getting an echo now? Okay, so there's some kind of echo coming from yours. I don't know if it's just I'm talking too loud or not. But well, Smitty, it was funny. He like he comes on like right before he gets on, and he's like, "Oh, I got like 30 minutes," or like, "I got like 25 minutes," and I was like, "Oh, okay." Like, just felt crazy. Like no one gave me a time limit like that, and I don't know. He's almost just seemed like super annoyed that he was coming on, and but then we talked for like an hour and a half, and he keeps talking and talking, and it's funny.
He seems like good people.
Yeah, he's cool.
Mr. Sarcastic, what's up? Daniel asked your opinion on best teams to have stacked players. For me, it's pretty easy. It's Chargers and Bengals.
I mean, if we're going to throw Tom Brady and Mike Evans, in there, I mean, just really any super high-powered offense. I mean, throw the Rams in there with Stafford and Kupp. That's really what you want, just those teams that are going to be scoring the most points in the league.
Yeah, the Bucks, probably the next team that comes to mind for me. I kind of like the Raiders, too, because they're pretty affordable.
Yeah.
I mean,
One of the
Jacobs.
cheaper ones because,
Yeah.
Adams,
Jacobs.
one of the cheaper ones because Adams, I mean, a lot of times he's going to go in the top 5 wide receivers, but I've seen him fall out of the top 5 wide receivers. And then Carr, you're getting him, definitely double-digit QB.
I'm a Renfro fan as well.
Okay. So how do you think he's going to do with Adams coming over?
I mean, I think he's going to lose targets. Don't get me wrong, obviously, but I think he's going to be kind of like that PPR style, player that he's always been.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll be fine. I really do. I
I
mean,
wonder,
his
I wonder,
ceiling's capped. Don't get me wrong, but I still like him a lot.
I wonder if he gets to call any of the plays like last year, because he was like calling, like diagnosing a lot of plays, or not diagnosing, but just calling up, writing a lot of the schemes of the play. And I would assume he would make himself the first read, if he's the one who's scheming those up. But that's also, no Waller a lot of those times, and probably made it easier to do it that way.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more worried about Waller than I am Renfro.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, you got to get him a lot earlier for sure.
Yeah.
And Jonathan said, I think the Cardinals are slept on for a cheap stack with how bad their defense is. Well, their defense is not bad. I mean, the defense was like really what kind of got them to the playoffs. They kind of fell off. I mean, when they got a lot of injuries, J.J. Watt and a few other guys got injured. But yeah, I mean, your Marquise Brown, Kyler Murray. I mean, Kyler, you're getting him as like QB 6 to 8 or something like that. And
it depends, like who you're drafting. And some people are really high on Kyler. Some people let him fall back. So, but yeah, I mean, anywhere between QB 4 and 8, it just kind of depends. But then Hopkins obviously is pretty cheap with the suspension. Connor's at, I would say, somewhat of a discount. So definitely a more affordable stack, no doubt. And then Zach Ertz is also ridiculously cheap. So
yeah, it's weird how people forget how good Zach Ertz was, and just 2 like seasons of like injuries, like people think he's like really bad or something.
Yeah, he was like a top 2 or 3 tight end like 2 seasons ago. So
yeah,
maybe not that high, but.
And Bogey said Cooper Kupp and Allen Robinson and Matthew Stafford. Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't be upset with having Cooper Kupp and Allen Robinson on the same team if you're getting Allen Robinson real late.
Sure.
Which a lot of times you are.
I mean, Ertz was literally tight end 5 last year.
Yeah.
Just crazy. And then outside of 2020, he was a top 6 tight end every year between 2016 and 2019. So top 6 are better, but.
Yep. And I guess, I mean, not everyone's like doing like the things that I've been doing with like a lot of the signs and like top 10 finishes. And it's like Zach Ertz and Travis Kelce they're tied with 8 top 10 finishes in the last 10 years.
Okay. Yeah, those are good stats.
And yeah, Zach Ertz is a Scorpio. Travis Kelce is a Libra. And so those are like the 2 signs to have as far as the tight ends go.
No kidding.
At least the top ones.
I mean, I guess like Trey McBride is there, but I'm not really too worried about it.
Dang it, where do I go here?
Yeah, last 2 picks, I was just like, I don't even know.
It's ugly.
I got a good defense, I think. So, I mean, you went with the first defense off the board, but
no, someone took the Bucks before me.
Oh, that was before you. Oh yeah,
you're right. And we were just getting amongst amongst the wasteland. So that's just the only reason.
I just picked Zach Wilson, like just because, like no one else. But final round, here we go.
Let me see. Let's get it like this, and I can see it a little better.
Yeah.
Or not, because now it's all small. Let's see.
We'll survive. Spence says, I've gotten Eckler, Keenan, Mike Williams, and Herbert, and 1 Best Ball Mania and 2 puppies on Underdog.
Hey, I mean, the Chargers, what is it? Chargers and Rams in week 17 or something like that. But I know the Chargers have a real nice game in week 17.
Yeah, I've done that quad stack like twice, I think. I think they were both in the puppy though. Smokey, we can definitely look at teams at the end here, no doubt. It's kind of hard to say like who has the best team, but we can do draft grades.
Right. I mean, really, it's like who has the best like top 5 picks.
Yeah.
You know, like really, like that's the way I think we could determine it.
Sure, we can do that. I don't know about I feel like my first 5 picks weren't bad. They just like I wasn't getting like, you know, those players that feel like really good value coming to me essentially throughout the whole draft. I think the second half of the draft, I got good value, but the beginning was just kind of like, I'll pick this player because
we're always doing 12 team mocks, right? Like, so like when we have to get a guy like 2 rounds earlier than we're like used to getting him, feels like it's not good value.
Sure. Spence says I have Eckler as my RB2 behind JT. I'm kind of I'm there too. Yeah, I think Eckler is my 1.2. Yep.
I have Eckler at number 3, right behind Najee.
I like the Najee move. I mean, I was pretty high on Najee earlier in the offseason. I think I've got him. I mean, I could pull it up. I think I've got him at 4 or 5. I think 5. Andrew, have a good night. Always appreciate you stopping by.
Peace out. Yeah, Najee, he's just one of those guys who I like. So last year, having him in one of the leagues where my 6th and final championship literally gets locked in on that very last touchdown of the game, and like, man, still get goosebumps thinking about it because man, that shit was fucking awesome. Like, literally the last play of the game, he breaks off that big touchdown, and man,
that was probably like the biggest play in fantasy last year. Like, I had so many people like, dude, I lost my championship because of Najee, or I won. I think Ronald actually, I hate to bring it up, Ronald, but I think he lost because of that, if I remember correctly.
That sucks. Spencer said Najee's efficiency scares me. Well, the cool thing about fantasy football is efficiency doesn't really matter as much as it matters in the NFL, because you don't like, if they're not efficient, it doesn't mean you get less points.
Oh my gosh, I say no kickers. All right, I'll take Boswell. Let's go. Here's another live 2022 fantasy football mock draft in the books. 16 teams. Whew. Ronald, last play, the last game of the regular season when he should have taken a knee.
Yikes. No way. Yeah, I was really I was so glad that he didn't. I probably would have won even without that touchdown, but I was just like the icing on the cake. We don't want them taking a fucking knee. And Spencer said, I don't see Najee getting as many targets as he did last year if Trubisky is leading the helm. I mean, he might not get as many, but one thing we got to remember is that's the Pittsburgh offense. It's not the Big Ben, offense. That's just the offense that they like to run, because the short run game or the short pass game is literally the extension of their run game.
Yeah, I like Najee. I mean, people also make the argument the offensive line is bad, but I just think Pittsburgh is also one of these teams that's going to run the ball consistently,
for sure.
So
they're ground and pound, and defense always.
Oh yeah. All right, you want to go by the first 5 picks?
Yeah, and maybe because we don't have to go over all the teams. I mean, a bunch are like on auto, so sure. A few of them. So
yeah, let us know.
Let us know if you want us to go over your team. How about that? That's the way I like to do it. And whoever's here paying attention, sure. So why don't we go over your team first? And
so I kind of have been messing. This strategy in a 12 and a 10-man league works really well for me, where I go running back, receiver, running back, receiver, running back, receiver. Then I kind of just keep an eye on quarterback and tight end, and kind of let a quarterback and tight end that I'm comfortable with fall to me. And I was like, I don't think this is going to work well in a 16-team draft, but I'm going to try it anyways. And I feel like all things considered, it worked pretty well. I ended up going with 2 quarterbacks. and 2 tight ends just because I felt like they were better value at that point in the draft. But looking at the first couple of rounds, like I said, like I like Chubb and Hill, and I thought Gibson was good value. I think Metcalf was really good value where I got him. I'm pretty high on Metcalf if for context as well. And then when Edmonds was picked, it was just like I wanted like a Cook or Algier or Gordon there, even a Penny, but they're all long gone. So I just
And throw your sorry to cut you off. Throw your sleeper names in, guys, just in case
sure.
we don't know who everyone is. I'm sure we'll know most, but just throw them in just in case. And
Sure.
I'll just go in the order of whoever raised their hands first.
So Edmonds, I'm like full PPR. I think he could have some value. I think he'll be utilized within that offense. So as an RB3, I'm like, okay, there's no one else really. I almost went Dameon Pierce, but whatever. And I actually really like Devonta Smith where I got him. So I felt like, I don't know, I'm kind of torn because I'm not really crazy on Gibson or Edmonds, but I felt like they were the best available players,
Right.
But I'd be happy with these receivers, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, at the 315, I mean, 29th RB, off the board. I mean, there really is no getting value.
Sure.
Like you're just getting everyone.
Sure. So yeah, I don't hate this team for a 16-team league. Like I would be fine with this team.
Yeah. Let's see. Do you know Smokey the Cat? His sleeper name.
Yeah, he's Steelers 8519.
There we
Smokey,
go.
what we do tonight, man? Brady at quarterback. I mean, good value in the 7th.
Yeah.
Fearmouth. I don't mind Fearmouth. I don't know. I've been high on Fearmouth for a while. Like when he started catching preseason touchdowns from Big Ben, I've been on the Fearmouth train for a while. So obviously it changes, but at 9.6, like I think you could argue Gesicki here, but I'm fine with that as your tight end one at the end of the day. Eckler, Zeke, Jones, Foreman, Chuba. Definitely got some Carolina handcuff action going on there. But
yeah,
I mean, almost like
TMC.
Yeah, it's like almost like you're wishing someone gets hurt this season. But I mean, really relying on Eckler and Elliott here, which I think can get you through, and then kind of you'd probably be playing waivers with this team a little bit for running back, but isn't everybody, right?
Yeah.
But good value at receiver throughout the draft. DJ Moore, Cooper, Godwin, Juju, Galladay in the 10th, Pringle in the 13th, Prater is a kicker, and the Broncos defense. I mean,
I would have to see how some of the teams shape out who went like RB heavy, like in the beginning. But I feel like the teams that have like 3 like running backs inside the top 30 or 32, those are going to be the teams that are going to look a little nicer to me.
Yeah. All right, let's see. I already lost track.
Who is next? All right, Slade. What is
Slade is just Slade.
Yeah.
Slade 01.
Oh, who said they hated the one for the 14 spot there. And but got Kelsey though. I mean that's the biggest positional advantage that you can get in this style of league is Kelsey.
Yeah. I mean, Kelsey at tight end, Kelsey, at 1.14 as well, and still landed Tanyan at 11.14. I mean, that's a good scenario, no doubt. I mean, obviously, giant positional advantage with Kelsey, and then Tanyan's got some nice upside if he can stay healthy with Adams gone. So then Lamar and Jameis at quarterback is also interesting because, I mean, you've got obviously all the upside in the world with Jackson, but Winston, I think, has so many weapons this year. I don't know. I'm kind of a Winston believer this season. If he can get his shit together.
Yeah, and I mean, it looked like last year. I mean, we can't fault him for the injury. And he looked pretty solid. I mean, he had like one shit game, in there, and then a couple like not bad games for the NFL. They just weren't like great for fantasy, and then he had a couple really good fantasy games like mixed in also. So we kind of got like all levels of it, but we didn't see a crazy pick 6 Winston. I mean, that was for sure.
I mean, it's like he threw 5,100 passing yards 2 seasons ago and 33 touchdowns. So I mean, obviously he threw 30 interceptions as well, but I don't know. I just feel like he could have a decent year. Where his ADP is, I don't mind him at all.
Yeah. With this, I really feel like, because I don't necessarily like the running backs or the wide receivers, just the way that it kind of shaped out. I feel like I like what you did where you kind of like interchanged. So it's not like you took a big hit on one or the other. You kind of just kept going back and forth. In this 16 team like style, it's probably even more important to kind of build like well-rounded versus like going heavy on one.
Sure.
Because I feel like if you would have got Aaron Jones, right there, and then like instead of Hunt or Corduroy Pimpin, right there, Patterson getting a wide receiver, there, maybe his team looks a little bit better. But at Hunt and Patterson as your 1 and 2, I just get nervous at that coming out of the gate. But there's not going to. I'm sure there's going to be some rocky RB combos though for sure.
Sure.
All right, let's see who is after Slade. Who's Jonathan in here?
J Dubs 1.1.
There we go.
Let's see. Love Hurts in the 7th round.
Yep.
Good with Kittle. I mean, I kind of like a second tight end behind Kittle just because of the injury history. But at the same time, always say, like, if Kittle's on your team and he's, in line to play, like, you're not starting anyone over him unless you went, like, Kelsey and Kittle and did something crazy, or Andrews and Kittle,
And he did get Brevin Jordan later, but
right, I saw that.
I mean, who know, that's just a dark and who knows how reliable that would be.
Right. That's why I almost consider this like a one tight end team, even though you drafted 2. But
for sure,
I like the start to this draft a whole lot. Don't get me wrong. I mean, CMC, Akers, Hall, Kittle, Amon-Ra, Gage, Hurts, and then even I think Tony's kind of a dart throw. I don't know how you feel about him, but I still think he's good value there. Then Sky Moore, another good value, and then TDP and Zamir White are both guys who like could be a waste of a draft pick or could be really valuable in their own regard. So I like this team a lot, actually.
So Kadarius Toney is a danger to himself.
Sure.
If you remember last year, remember when like he fell or like threw himself on the ground, like pretty much gives himself a concussion or something.
Yeah.
Threw it down on his shoulder. I don't know what it was.
I will say as a wide receiver 3, I'm not crazy about that. Like I'd rather go like even MBS or Gallup, like even if Gallup's going to miss time, like guys who, I don't know, feel a little bit more solidified in their offense where like you're saying, Tony, it's just kind of like, we don't know what's going to happen,
I really feel like instead of Breece Hall or Cam Akers, whichever one he didn't like more, he should have went with one of those wide receivers there. I mean, Keenan Allen, AJ Brown, Higgins, more. I mean, just any one of those guys, because I feel like that just his wide receivers took a hit, right there. I mean, Amon-Ra. I mean, we expect big things, but not everyone's going to be injured, the entire season. So he's not going to get that crazy amount of volume for the entire season.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like going, let's say Keenan Allen or AJ Brown over Akers, right, and still landing Hall, and then instead of going Tony, going with Robinson or McKissick or I don't know, someone like that, I'd probably like this team more. I can agree with that. Sure thing.
It's just these little things, like that's all it is. Like a different player here, different player there. It's like totally different makeup of a team.
Sure.
Right, let's see who is after Jonathan. Ron. Where's Ron's team? There it is.
Ronald, what we got, my dude? This is a very Ronald start to a team. Gets his guy Josh Allen at 3.9. I don't hate. I mean, actually, in a 16 team draft, that's pretty good value for Allen. Went out and got your guy Goddard. I like that too. Mixon and Williams, Walker, Robinson, Gainwell. I mean, for a 16 team draft, I don't mind these running backs, but receiver takes a little bit of a hit, obviously. But Ronald doesn't draft receivers early. He's looking for those late round value guys or those guys that could break out in the later rounds as well. So
that's the shaky part of this whole team, and I know that's by makeup.
Sure.
Probably got Goddard a little earlier than he had to, but I know you got to get Goddard. The thing that I don't like is it's the Burks, Woods, and Pickens, to back up Cortland Sutton. I mean, it should have been a different trio because Pickens, who knows how much he even does. I mean, it's even coming out that he might not have too much of a role,
Thanks.
the entire year, let alone right away. And then if Woods, if he starts on the pup or anything like that, I know you got Burks and Woods, and hopefully one of those guys like booms, but still a world that we live in where the rookie, even if Woods isn't there, doesn't get off to like a super hot start. So it's not that I don't like all those guys. I guess I would have rather had a different trio combination than all of those guys.
Fair. All right, let's see.
Who was after Run? Chase.
95 Chase. A-Rod at quarterback. A-Rod is good value in the 7th.
He went kind of at the end of that like big run out of everyone, so
yeah,
got him after everybody.
Hawkinson at tight end we talked about during the draft, and then backed him up with Albert O. Does that make you feel any better about that Hawkinson selection?
Not really, because Russell Wilson's never really been a guy who's like, gone crazy for the tight end, minus like that one Jimmy Graham year where he didn't have good stats, but he did have double-digit touchdowns. And who knows if Albert O is that guy anyways, who would like, is he Julian Thomas, with like Peyton Manning? That's like the last real good combo that I can think from Denver. And
sure,
Rush just doesn't seem like the guy who peppers the tight end all that much. So I really don't like that combo. I'd much rather would have just had Albert O and had someone different besides Hawkinson there.
Yeah, and I mean, there's even reports coming out because the Broncos, I don't remember if they drafted one tight end or two, but there's reports that one of those guys might step up.
Dolchich.
Yeah. So
they said that he's just a natural receiver, and like he has Albert O like fully beat on as far as like who's a better receiver.
But outside of that, I like this team. I mean, Chase, Cooks, Gabe, Davis, Gallup, Myers, Odell as a dart throw at the end, Barkley, Dillon, Gordon, Haskins is a dart throw. Some people have a theory that he's going to replace Derrick Henry. But I think the start to this draft was really good. I like this team. I think it's pretty even par.
Yeah, for sure. Melvin Gordon. I mean, it seems crazy to see him being taken in the 5th, but I mean, we're already amongst like the 30 RBs, mid 30 RBs at that point. So sure. Yeah, I like the way that he did it, not just like neglecting any one position. And then he even said it there, almost waited on QB and tight end, could have considered that. Sure. I mean, that's what makes this team better, is waiting on the QB and the tight end, because it got a lot of good skill positions in there.
100%.
Let's see who's after Chase.
Let's see.
Mike.
Oh, Mike.
There we go. The 5 spot.
Oh, I was waiting on this team. I just like the aggressiveness at running back.
Yeah, that was really aggressive right there. 4 in a row. After getting Jefferson, though, so I do like that going the hero wide receiver strategy.
Yeah. And it's like, if you got JJ or Cup or even Chase, really anyone who win the first at receiver, like you can take a breather, but I would say I'm the most confident in Jefferson or Cup. It's really, really close for those two guys for me. But ETN, Mitchell, Pollard, Carter, like obviously you've got like some committee scare in here, some theoretical handcuffs as well, but a lot of upside with all 4 of those guys, in my opinion.
Yeah, because at least Pollard and Carter, they're not handcuffs. I mean, I feel like those are like, kind of flex guys with upside, your RB3s who maybe you get them in there, randomly. But yeah, they're definitely better than like the handcuff guys. Like, it's not like you got Alexander Madison or something,
100%.
right? So I do like that. I mean, it's obviously the wide receivers that outside of Jefferson, but hopefully he just makes up for it. I mean, that's why you go hero wide receiver.
Right.
Yeah. Lockett, Moore, Claypool. I mean, I'm nervous about all of those guys, nervous about Sammy Watkins, but can't be mad at the value of where he got it. It would just that'd be your shaky spot that you'd literally be trying to fix like every week.
100%.
Let's see. And then Emil is next.
Emil got Kyler, quarterback, Waller and Gesicki, Cook, Fournette, Madison, so you get the handcuffs. Sony Michel as a dart throw. Mike Williams, Renfro, Boyd, Osborne, AJ Green, Matt Gay, Saints defense, and Ryan Tannehill. Actually, I mean, I don't really dislike. I mean, full PPR, right, for Renfro and Boyd, and even Osborne. I
It's
actually
kind
kind
of
of like
just
this
like an
team.
average team. Like, I mean, for what I feel like, it's not super top heavy, but it's not like, it's like just a solid C. It's like right in the middle. It's like real good, but just not.
There's just like I feel like there's a player at each position to get you through, and then
For
like
sure.
a second player at each position to kind of help out that first player as well.
For sure.
So yeah, I like this team, but obviously for all these teams towards the end, it starts to get a little ugly.
Yeah, I mean that's why. I mean, really, it's those top like once we get to the QBs, and like the sixth and seventh round, and then we start getting into all the backups and everything.
Sure.
Let's see who is what's Julian's. Oh, right there.
Got it right in the middle. I was like, where is it?
Right next to Emil at the 8th spot, literally right in the middle.
Trey Lance and Cousins. It's kind of a nice combo because
I'm pissed that he got Cousins because I really wanted him to fall to me, and I really thought he was. I was like, all right, everyone's got their QBs now. Maybe Cousins will just slide all the way to me, and then of course he does the smart thing and gets another QB just in case Lance isn't the guy week 1.
Yeah, and Trey Lance is a quarterback who I don't mind going out and targeting, but I want someone solidified with him. So I like that combination a lot.
For sure.
Cup, Evans, Hollywood Brown, Bateman, MVS, and Alec Pierce. I feel like that's really good value at receiver throughout the whole draft. And then running back is hurting because of that.
It's like his trade capital right there. Because one of those 4 receivers you would like must trade for a running back like right away.
Because he basically got 2 committees with Dobbins and Stevenson. And Dobbins, might not be.
I mean, he's on the pup right now, and I know he still can be activated off of that, but all we know right now is he's on the pup, and so if I'm drafting right now, I'm totally like trying to avoid him. But he got him crazy. I mean, you got Gibson at like 29, so it's 28, 27, 26, RB 25. I mean, we just see it in the 3rd round. We think it's crazy early, but RB 25, not bad value.
Sure.
I would have much rather had AJ Dillon, who was like the next RB who went, but to each his own. They're all in the same tier for me.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I'm way higher on Dillon than Dobbins, but Irv Smith, a nice dart throw at tight end, as is Logan Thomas. So, like we said, running backs lacking on this team, but decent value at tight end, and then receiver is obviously where your upside and or trade value is at. So,
for sure. I like the stack of Marquise Brown and Bateman. Really just because Brown's going a lot later than he was going in the past. And maybe there will be some resurgence with Kyler. And Bateman is like one of those guys who Matt Harmon. Oh, that was another big guy who was on the show last year was Matt Harmon. All of his reception perception just shows Bateman is one of those guys who's one of the above average. I mean, getting close to one of the elite route runners and like separation. So curious to see what he could do. He got hurt last year at the beginning of the preseason. That was kind of lame.
Yeah, that was like a player last season that I was super into. Like, go out and draft him, put him on your IR right away, and then pick up your kicker. Like
for sure. All right. And so Tim, here goes Tim's squad, my world.
So let's see. Stafford and Goff, interesting combo just because of the history of teams, but I'm fine with that. Hooper, I'm not really crazy about Hooper. Like, we basically ignored tight end until the 12th. I mean, in the 12th round, 16-team draft, it's good value. Don't get me wrong, but you'd probably be looking for someone to emerge on the waiver more than likely. I don't know how you feel about that, but
yeah, I mean, Austin Hooper is one of those. I mean, if I'm kicking the tight end can down the street and like I kick it as far as I can and I can't kick it anymore, Austin Hooper's like one of those guys. Maybe you take a dart throw because he's like the only tight end there now. Well, I mean, not the only tight end, but they didn't bring him over there for no reason. And Woods might not play right away, and Burks, he's a rookie, so who knows?
Sure.
He's been bad since he's been out of Atlanta anyways, so we'll see what happens.
I like the receivers on this team. Allen, Thielen, Ayuk, Parker, Crowder. I mean, 5 receivers. good value throughout the draft.
Mm-hmm.
JT and Monty, I think you're fine there, just because JT is one of those two backs. Sanders, like I'm not a Sanders believer personally.
I mean, got him so late. I mean, that's really the only
true.
thing. I mean, you got him after, let me see, 29, 30, 31, 32, RB 33. I mean, crazy that it's in the 4th round, but RB 33, I mean, drafting him after all 32, starter. Well, I mean, not all 32 starters, but you're in that range already, backup range.
And about to hit the turn, like probably was thinking running back is going to be decimated by the time I pick again at 6.15. So all things considered, it's not a bad pick, but I'm just not a Sanders believer really. Mack and Williams, why not? But I don't dislike this team. I think it's a pretty good team. I'd just be worried about tight end.
Yeah, I mean, pretty solid. And seeing, like I was saying about J-Dub, getting a wide receiver there instead of like another running back. I mean, obviously, I'd rather have Breece Hall over Miles Sanders. So, I mean, that's not even like a real like fair comparison. But
sure,
this team, I mean, I like it just a little bit more, than the first team because of that, having Allen and then, still having some other competent wide receivers and Hurts in a league where, I mean, it's just like super default scoring. I mean, I'd rather have Hurts like over Stafford slightly, but
sure.
And AJ, what up, bro? He says, shout out to the hustler for being a real one and showing me the ropes to the fantasy content world. Hell yeah, dude. We need more people coming up.
What up, AJ? I think we hit everyone.
I think so. Well, you guys can tear my team apart. I kind of felt like I had to pick Connor there in the second round, and then but I did like the Higgins Robinson stack, and then Lazard feels crazy getting him in the 6th round. I mean, it seems so damn early, and then I felt like I got great value on Schultz. That's where I feel like that's one of the better picks. Not super, ecstatic about the Tua and Mac Jones, but there could be worse combos to have out there.
I think you got really good receiver value, like towards the end of the draft. Like Anderson, Jones, and Cobb could all play respective role in their offenses. In terms of quarterback, I don't hate where it ended up going. Like obviously, if you land Cousins in the 8th round, I like it a lot more just because we know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, top 12 quarterback last season, right? I don't hate Mac Jones though. Like I'm a Jones truther, so I like the running back room. And then a lot of nice upside between Higgins and Robinson. Then I mean Lazard's going to play a good role and could be a wide receiver 1. So, and then Schultz, like you said, he kind of like got the last player in that tier, right? That kind of like top 5 to 6-ish tier at tight end. So, good positional value there as well. And I mean, I love James Conner. I love Najee Harris. So I like the running back room naturally. And Singletary and Williams are good picks too. So, yeah. Bill's defense too. I mean, I think he got upside at defense, taking the second defense off the board, not the first, but close enough.
Yeah, and I'm usually not picking defense. I mean, really high. I mean, there's usually no reason to. In a 16 team, it might be worth it to be a little bit of ahead of the curve as far as like drafting your defenses versus being in the second half of all those defenses. I don't think that would be too fun.
That's fair, 100%.
And Jonathan said in this format, I'm more comfortable going tight end late, looking at the board. Yeah, let me get it to where we could see the whole board. Yeah, because I mean, really, you get the first 3 tight ends off the board, and then it just really falls. I mean, Kittle at the end of the 4th, Waller in the 5th, Goddard in the 6th, and then we got Knox, Ertz, and Schultz in the 7th, and then Hawkinson. Yeah. I mean, really, a lot of people just waited until double-digit rounds and got, I'm going to say, decent-ish tight ends.
Yeah.
Because all tight ends really suck after the first couple anyways.
Or they're at least touchdown dependent,
For sure. Yeah, it gets ugly.
I can live with touchdown dependent guys like Henry or Knox. Gesicki really like almost too PPR dependent. He's like the like if he doesn't make the most of his targets, he just has an awful game,
Right.
But he gets the targets. It's like he's an interesting player too. So
yep.
All right, well that should wrap it up, I think.
Yeah.
We've been it's almost been 2 hours, so definitely took a little bit longer to get that wrapped up. But
it's those minute picks, man. I'm telling you.
That's right. But appreciate everyone coming out tonight. I mean, first collab we've ever done on my channel. Obviously, you're collabing like every day, but definitely a blast. And just cool to see both communities come together, no doubt, man.
Yeah, and I'm sure. I mean, I'm down to get more of these going. I know you're doing mocks all the time. I'm doing mocks all the time. So yeah, definitely don't mind combining forces. You know, I mean, we still got. I mean, pretty much. I mean, what, like 6 weeks or so? You know, so we should be able to do this a couple more times before before we get to the season, and
for sure,
maybe even during the season, we'll figure out something as well.
Yeah, we definitely should. And then I got to get you in the on the Catch Fam League roster as well. Yeah, vice versa. I got to join 1 or 2 of your leagues and expand my horizons. So
yeah, it's gonna be some fun drafts all around. I'm excited
for sure. So everyone who swung by tonight, man, everyone on both channels, appreciate you guys. We've got both, my link in the description down below, and Hustler's link down there as well. So check out both channels. Make sure you guys, if you're not subscribed to one or the other, that you guys go do that. And
wait, did we not go over Derek's team?
Hold on. We got to hit Derek.
Is it this one?
It should be.
Wait, hold on.
1.13.
There we go.
Burrow and Fields, Knox and Higbee. Good quarterback room, good tight end room. Diggs, Thomas, Hardman, Williams, Washington, Mechie. I think that may have been an auto pick there at the end. But Jones, CH, Penny, then at running back. But
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like instead of going CH here, I would have gone receiver. And then maybe taking a dart throw over like Williams. I know Washington's one of your like late round guys, so I'm good at that. But
that's one of the tough things here. I mean, with these 16 teamers, it's like you really got to figure out, like, what am I getting value on this pick? Am I overpaying for this running back, or am I getting better value on the wide receiver? Because you really got to get best player available, not think about the positional scarcity, because in a 16 team, like, everything is going to be scarce. It's like whichever one goes quicker is going to be more scarce, but you can't let that influence like the value of players.
Sure. Yeah, I don't hate this team.
It's the Penny. I mean, it's Thomas. I mean, that's, as the number 2. I mean, I much rather would have had like Gabe Davis, Devonta Smith, Elijah Moore, guys who went early in the next round after that.
Sure. And Derek's saying that the MT was an auto pick. But
okay. Yeah. Well, there we go. That makes sense.
I think. Or no, I stopped after Hardman. Everything else was auto picked. Okay. Never mind. I hate that team.
It happens,
bro.
That's why we mock.
It happens.
All right. Well, sweet. And then, so for everyone who's in the best ball tournament, we got a recap coming tomorrow. And then we got mock draft Monday coming with Spencer the Guru tomorrow as well. And then we got the last and final recap for all the best ball divisions happening this Tuesday, along with the wake and bake session. And yeah, we got a bunch of live streams coming at you real soon.
Let's go. Yeah, I think tomorrow night we're doing an 8-team mock draft requested by our boy Senior Cinnabon. So I'll get that link out to you guys on Discord.